get some players introduced, guys. Ben, just before, well, actually, let's just introduce the players first, then we can do some sellout stuff. To the bottom left-hand side of the map, our blue Terran player from Envious is going to be Polt. And his opponent, over to the right-hand side of the map, is going to be the red Terran player from Africa. It is aLive. So a couple of quick sellout, shout-out sort of things. Well, first of all, if you're enjoying the stream, don't forget you can hit that follow button to see when we go live again in the future. Apparently, we haven't had a single follower all day, which is ridiculous for having so many viewers and not a single person following. Like, that's a little bit insane. So if you're enjoying the stream, hit the follow button. Also, if you're really enjoying the stream, you can support. One of the best ways to support is subscribing to the channel. Obviously, you get the emotes and you get to play in our sub-tournaments and stuff that we have. But also, today is the final day to get the replay pack from August. It's the last day I'm going to be sending it out. So if you want to get August replay pack, over 300 replays from players such as Snoot, Björn, Snoot, Björn, Violet, Gummy Ho, aLive. There'll be some Polt replays in there from the SGL Cup number 3, True replays from a lot of top players, from players we casted during August. They are all in there. It's the last day to get it, because I'll be sending it out again tonight, and that will be it. So if you want to get your hands on that sub replay pack, today is the day to subscribe. There'll be another replay pack going out at the end of September as well, with all of September's games in it. But today's the last day you can get the August replay pack. As we kick off into this TvT, aLive is going to be opening with a factory coming down over on this main base. So factory on the way down. CC is currently building up on the natural expansion too. So CC on the natural, and here comes this Reaper through the south side of the map. So Reaper through the south side, coming on over, all the way over to the left. You see Hellion on the way from Polt as well, and the starport also being added on. So Polt's just playing one base for now. With only one gas, will be an expansion coming down, and a bit of a Marine Hellion-based aggressive attack here in the early stages. So setting up into this over the next few moments. And this Hellion just going to be pulling through the bottom side of the map. So Hellion coming through the bottom side, again, aLive. He expanded here early, which means that from him, he's obviously got an expansion, so he's just looking to defend. And I think the reacted Hellions are a very good way to do that. I always feel as though when I play sort of a Marine Hellion or Marine Widowmine drop sort of play, I kind of delay my own expansion. Whenever I see reacted Hellions coming up, I'm a little bit like, oh, well, that sort of sucks, because he's just making more stuff than you. And them Hellions are very good at defending pretty much everything, so pretty intrigued to see how this ends up going. I'm going to be seeing a Reaper and a couple of Hellions just sat atop this ramp. There's a couple more Hellions popping out, and well, for Polt, it's going to be more so about kind of avoiding the Hellions than anything else right now, I think. So let's see how this goes. It's going to be our only TvT of the day. Again, after this, we'll have a couple of TVZs in a row, and then we finish up with a ZVP. So lots of different matches today. Really nice group. Next week's SGL groups are a little bit matchup heavy. It'll be 3 Zergs and 1 Protoss in Group C, and 3 Terrans and a Protoss in Group D. So a little bit unfortunate that we couldn't mix that up a bit. It could be so much nicer if it was mixed up just a little. But anyways, we're going to see this Viking starting to work away against this Medevac as it moves in towards the main base. Widowmine going to go off on the Vikings. That's actually really nice here. Polt's going to take a little bit of an advantage right from the get-go. Hellions will use just attack onto the refinery there, use their splash damage to kill that Widowmine off. But he can't chase that Medevac anymore because the Viking is gone. Has got a Cyclone. That obviously doesn't have too much chasing potential. Actually going to move the Viking away from that starport, cancel that, and go onto the reactor, and then probably reactor out these couple of Vikings. So these couple of Vikings will come out. We see 2 more barracks being added on. It fits. You see it building a location. So aLive feeling very confident about his position right now. Polt has a little bit of a faster second racks though, and he's already started up Stimpack. He's going into Cloak Banshee play. So we'll see how much damage this can get done against someone who is building up a couple of... Well, he actually isn't building up a couple of Vikings. He's just got the starport there, but he's not building anything with it. So we'll see what he does. He's got engineering base on the way. Does he have a scan saved? He's pretty close to one, so we'll see if he saves it for this Banshee. Obviously, the more damage this Banshee does, the better position Polt will be in for having a bit of a later third base, basically. So he's already a couple workers behind. So it's somewhat important that he tries to make something happen here, as we do have this Banshee just coming over the right hand side. Cyclone going to lock on. Banshee is going to not bother cloaking because hey, he's in a scan already. So Banshee goes down. Nice defense so from aLive. That's exactly what he needs to maintain a bit of a lead here in the early stages, as we're going to be seeing this Banshee starting to move over to the right hand side as well. A couple of Marines will split up from aLive, going a couple of different directions. Just a couple of Marines in a couple of different directions, and this one Banshee still just heading over to the right. Two Vikings and a Cyclone going to come in here. Ooh, locks on, but loses the sky, loses the vision, so it doesn't get the kill. But still actually picks it off in the scan range, which is nice. If you'd had to scan again for that Banshee, that would have been maybe somewhat worthwhile for Polt. But so far, not worthwhile at all. And Polt, well, he's building his third CC all the way over here, and by the time he lifts that up and floats over there, it's going to be another couple of SCVs he'll be down, plus the fact he's already down the mules, which his opponent from aLive has on the way out right now. So good stuff basically from aLive, I'd say. Definitely putting himself into a good position in the early stages. Now Polt has a bit of a faster stim. Not too much faster, but we'll see if he can get anything done with it. I mean, look at this. I mean, aLive actually heading every way. Double engineering base. He's going to have a +1 armor upgrade over his opponent. Man, aLive has so many advantages. It's crazy. Polt, though, with a pretty good, strong standing army. Lots of Marines with Stimpack 2 going to be stimming forwards here to fight against this. That Cyclone tries to turn and fight, doesn't last too long. And that might just make the difference here as Polt attacks across the map. He has one tank in the medevacs. There's two tanks here from aLive. Obviously mobile, though, if there's no medevacs nearby to help them out. A couple of Vikings, but that's about it. So it's an interesting position, an interesting one for both players. We're going to be seeing this tank just firing away. Picks off a Hellion to begin with. Another couple of Hellions and a Cyclone just backing off right now. So backing away just slightly. As I see 10 more seconds until +1 weapons kicks in from Polt. He will maintain the upgrade lead for the first kind of 15-20 seconds or so. But then he'll lose it and he'll be behind for quite some time until his +1 armor finishes. So Polt just going to sit here, not going to look to press in, not looking to force anything if it's not going to come naturally. I'm just going to be seen. But to be fair, Polt's not in a bad position. I thought he'd be further behind in work account, etc. He has been a bit behind in mules and so on. But for the most part, I mean, he's still up there in work account. He's still ahead in army. And again, it's just like the odd upgrade here or there that he seems to be lacking in right now. But I think for the most part, Polt's actually looking pretty good. So I did think he'd be further behind with the way things had gone. But apparently, that is not going to be the case. I'm going to see these few medevacs lifting up tanks once again. Having a look around to see what's going on and to see what is happening. So a few Marines just moving through this top side. Tanks coming through as well, and these Marines will just start stemming over to the right hand side a little bit here. So stemming over to the right. And these Marines from aLive just position. He actually has very good map control, very good vision around his bases of anything sort of coming in towards him. You know, there's almost an arc of vision here from aLive, like around here, maybe lacking a bit up here. But then he has it down here as well, so he really sees anything sort of coming in towards him from a distance. This sensor tower too, really well positioned with a few turrets, just drops into the main base here on New Gettysburg. That main base, one of the main locations you can really drop in on this map. I mean, you think about the other bases, it's actually very hard to attack into any of them. You know, the third base is obviously naturally defended. The fourth base, when it gets taken, can be a bit easy to attack into, drop up here and stim in. But it's still not, you know, still not ideal, and in very few ways in which Polt or aLive can really attack on this map. It's, you know, it's sort of the same as all the other matchups. It's why we see this map sort of bringing us longer games, because there's only one main attack pathway. It's very easy to hold the vision you need to defend, and that's what we oftentimes see. Another medevac coming out, another couple of Marines will join up too, and just going to be seeing these tank vacs up in the skies alongside the Marines from aLive. And a couple of Vikings going to be coming up and joining towards the front as well. The Marines going to trade with each other, and aLive just going to win out that fight there. There's Polt coming up to the north with this group of Marines and the tank vacs in tow. Still looking to be the aggressor, and I like this from Polt. All game long he's been the one who's poking, the one who's on the map, and I always feel as though the player who's on the map in the TvT has more chances because they're naturally going to be the one who finds potential weaknesses in their opponent's defense, whereas aLive, if he's just sat back at home, well, he has no idea if Polt hasn't got this third base defended from a certain angle, if he's going to be able to drop into the main base, you know, things like that. So I feel as though I always feel with the player who has the map control in the TvT is just in the better position because they're able to move around, they're able to force mistakes from their opponent. And so I like it from Polt here. He's going to fall behind in upgrades very shortly, so he has to be careful about taking any fights for the next minute or so, until at least his +2 attack finishes, but preferably until his +2 armor finishes as well. So he'll have to play, not necessarily passively, he just won't want to be really kind of picking fights for the foreseeable future. So he'll just be sort of sitting back for that. He is going to take a +1 mech weapon lead, but only for a little while here. 4th base is going to land in this location. I actually like this 4th base. Apart from the drop ability from this side to this side, it's generally a lot safer, I think, because you just sort of, I don't know, this base is very exposed, I think, to drop in from this angle. This base not really got the same sort of feel behind it. Although I guess when you take this base, you do leave your 3rd base maybe a bit more open to drops coming in, so because you're more focused towards the center of the map, right? So look at this, aLive still contesting for map vision all over the place with Marines, the Cyclone. I mean, the Cyclone at this point in the game doesn't really do too much, as there we go. Polt finds a weakness. This is what we're talking about. If Polt's on this side of the map, he's going to be the one who drops in and finds a chance to kind of take a fight here. Polt does have the +2 weapons, no +2 armor though going into this fight. The fight's okay for him though because he's sitting in his tank plan, whereas aLive, well, he's not fighting in with the tanks. So aLive loses a few units there initially. Polt going to lift up his tanks. He's killed off the 4th base. That will slow down aLive quite a lot. He's going to have command center building over in the main. Well, that's about it. Another one building here as well. So Polt goes up to 5 bases while aLive sits back on 3. Polt definitely winning out that fight in general. Just has to keep his upgrades rolling here again. The upgrade advantage is one thing aLive has had for a lot of the game, and what aLive might just want to aim for is as his +3/+3 finishes, maybe now he wants to aim for an attack where he'll have that upgrade lead. It's not going to be there for a minute and a half, but that could be just what he aims to do, and by starting to position out on the map now, he'll get an idea as to where Polt is defending, how well Polt is responding to positions of himself, and little things like that. Look how many tanks Polt though has. I thought that was Polt's main army. This is actually the army we saw across the map from Polt up here. So he has so many siege tanks. He's going to really have a good time defending positions. 16, actually 12 tanks from aLive. So both players with a lot of tanks up in the game right now. aLive a little bit ahead on Marine count over his opponent. A few more Marines and tank evacs setting up to go, and again, it's aLive looking for a way around Polt's army, looking to find a way in towards this bottom left-hand side and a way to really engage into this in the near future. You're just going to come around the top, and well, if Marines just going to start unloading here to the center, and they're going to actually try and pick off another command center. That'd be a real kick in the teeth from aLive. Someone who has not had a 4th base up yet. If he loses this one again, I mean, what is he meant to be feeling? You know, obviously 4th bases just aren't meant to be his thing this game. SCVs will pull in, try and repair this plant up here as well. Polt's actually going to fight this. I don't like that fight. Attacking into opponents who's already dropped their tanks off. Don't think that ever really goes your way. Just give up the base. You know, you could deny the 4th base of your opponent yet again. Do you really need to kind of hold the 5th base so eagerly? You know, he could, I think, afford to have been a bit more passive there and not take that fight. Going to attack up here. He's going to get into this base as well. He's going to get some SCVs, maybe even the CC still, before he gets pushed away. I mean, Marines are coming in from his opponent, but there's no medevacs here from aLive. He does have an upgrade lead, though, and look at the difference that upgrade lead makes in these Marine on Marine fights. Big drop coming in from aLive as well, as Polt tries to clean this up too. aLive really making use of his upgrade advantage for now. The more he trades now, the better it is for him. A player who's been behind for a long time with the lack of a 4th base, etc. If he trades a lot now, when he's got an upgraded advantage and trades efficiently, it can start to make up for that, as this time he will keep this planetary fortress alive. Lost a lot of SCVs in the process, but he still holds map control as well. So aLive on the map, still down 20-ish army supply. And his upgrades are going to be tying on up, and his upgrades even up, we'll have to stop talking about upgrade advantages and potential timings, and instead just look to see who's able to take the better positions. 8 Marines going to load up in this medevac and go over to the left. So aLive going to be dropping off here in just a few moments. We'll see this 5th base from aLive also moving into location over here. Will land in position. As we see tank evacs, Marines all joined together in this direction. aLive's army and Polt's army both pretty scary, but TvT armies do change very suddenly, and fights can change very quickly based on just who gets the first tank shot, who runs in a little bit too clumped up into the siege tanks. This time it's aLive who's once again denied this 5th base of Polt. So for aLive, who didn't get a 4th base up forever, he's taking a 5th base much more easily than his opponent is. As it is going to be a kill on that CC, not much he could really do about it. Even lifting it up wouldn't have done much. As we'll be seeing aLive in position to deny Polt up here to the top side, and it's a great game of positional TvT. We're seeing from both of them right now where they're looking for openings, they're looking for opportunities to drop in to fight. And this is what I love about the Tankovac play, because it's quick and fast-paced strategy and decision-making. And it's exactly what we're going to see now. You know, players have to decide quickly, do they want to fight, do they not? But it's still so much about position as well, and being in location. You can see here, Polt pulls away around to the top side, and this is him going to be catching aLive a little bit out of location there, as he didn't respond to this very quickly. So Polt going to find himself to the top side, and can start shelling away at that plantry as he stims in. Polt might take down the fourth base again. This fourth base just isn't meant to exist from aLive. As he attacks into the tank line, that's never a good thing to be doing, especially when there's 6+ tanks in the location. Has to back away from that one. aLive with a lot of units actually left over here to continue defending. Another scan coming down. Tankovacs and Marines still moving around. Ooh, dropping again. A little bit of a trade from either side. Pretty even. And still Polt, who maintains an army supply lead throughout this first game of this best-of-3 TvT series. Again, it's been an interesting one. It's actually an important series for both players. aLive 1-0 in the group. We'll be looking to go 2-0 and have a really good shot at advancing through the group now. Polt, if he loses this series, he'll be 0-2. And that's not a pretty position for him to be in. That might even him be being in a position where kind of advancing from this group is almost out of his hands. And that's just come down to the other results. You'll have to just sit and wait to see what happens. Tank's going to unload to the top side here. Single Marine is working its way through that orbital. Marines come in, clean that Marine up nice and quickly there. As Tankovacs load up once again. Marines will move forwards and still try and trade. Polt, ooh, this time it's Polt running into tanks of his opponent. He drops the tanks down, but I think the Marines from aLive have gone far enough forwards. At the same time, Polt to the left-hand side is going to throw away a huge chunk of army. And from a 20 army supply lead, Polt now trails 10 to 20 army himself. Big plays from aLive, big engagements, successful engagements that have definitely worked out very, very well for him. Tankovacs joining together to the left-hand side once again here. Marines joining up too. And a lot of tanks just getting lifted up into the skies right now, as we do see aLive getting set to move into the center once again. A few Marines going to stim ahead of the rest, as both players look to see what's happening here. Going to pick off a Marine to the top side, and oh, are we going to see a fight? It's very close to looking like we might get a fight out of this, but actually Polt just keeps moving through the bottom side. aLive thinking about fighting in. Polt still just with a lot of tanks here. That positional play working for him. He lost a lot of medevacs before, so he doesn't actually have the mobility of the Tankovacs like he used to. Ooh, aLive drops into this. Here we go then. A lot more Marines from aLive as he pushes in. And actually with a spread, he might just be able to fight up into these tanks. Is exactly what he's doing. He's getting rid of a lot of them, honestly. And honestly, it's a worthwhile trade, because you just see how many tanks he gets rid of. Polt's supply plummets after that engagement. And aLive is going to take the lead. I mean, we know aLive is very good at TvT. We saw him playing Beyond the other day in the SGL Cup, and it was it was just fantastic TvT. It really was. There's no two ways about it. He played so well, and he really just played super good against Beyond. He actually knocked Beyond out, right? I think it was aLive who knocked Beyond out. Was it aLive Gummy Hill Finals? I can't even remember anymore. I think it was. Anyways, it was that was a really good series back then in the SGL Cup, and aLive, I mean, these Korean Terran players, they're so good. I love the TvTs that go along and trade and back and forth. And again, you know, certain decisions, certain fights don't go your way, and all of a sudden, everything sort of flips on its head because you made a mistake and you get punished for it. You see Polt with a base up here. It's just an orbital. I don't think that's going to be mine for too much longer. These 8 Marines can get so much done in this location. With +3/+3, they do so much damage. And they're going to attack in, and they're just going to get so much done. Even with... yeah, this is going to attack in. This is going to get so much done here. Even with... yeah, I was going to say, Polt actually has the armor plating. Even with the armor plating, he can do so much. And Polt's just going to type out the GG because he can't matter anymore. Alrighty, let's do this then. So, it's up a game to the bottom left side of the map. Our blue Terran player is going to be a freak as aLive. Up 1 game in this best-of-3 series after a crazy one on New Gettysburg. And to the upper right side of the map, our red Terran player from Team Envious. It is Polt. So what's up, guys? What we're thinking? We're thinking Polt's going to make a comeback here. I know a lot of you people in here will be supporting Polt and will be big fans. But does anyone think he's going to make a comeback? Does anyone think we're just going to see aLive bop him 2-0? I mean, to be fair, that first game was very back and forth. Could have gone any which way. It was all over the place. It was truly all over the place. Thank you very much again, Papa Mitch, for the $20 donation. I didn't actually give you an SD2i heart. Let me go into the chat and give you some because I failed to do them in real life. Sorry. SD2i hearts, thank you very much. Do appreciate it. And not just the donation, but the kind words as well. It means a lot. Guys are too nice to me sometimes, I swear. Saying nice things and saying you like my stream. It's making me blush. Am I going to cast the Casper Cup European qualifiers? Darn right I am. Could you imagine not casting the Casper Cup qualifiers? Do you realise like how amazingly incredible it is to get to cast something like the Casper Cup qualifiers? Like as a caster, it's like I know I'm only a community streamer and whatever, and it's only the European qualifiers, but man, it's like it's a huge event, right? It's a global event, and you get to cast it in the games, which determines which players go to Korea to play in the first global event of the year. It's the Casper Cup. I mean, how many times have you watched the Casper Cup? Like when it's been live and stuff. I remember the Casper Cups and people winning and all, you know, everyone just kind of. It's just such an awesome event, actually. Even just to cast the qualifiers of it is such a privilege. It's truly fantastic. Really, really glad for the opportunity from Casper to be able to commentate and bring you guys the stuff. Yeah, a bunch of people have followed, guys. So what happened was, I actually turned, in my event list, I turned followers off, because I figured I might try it and see how many followers we get, even if followers don't show to like the top right of the screen and stuff. And to give a bit more love to people who donate, etc., and subscribe, and just give them a bit more recognition. So I thought we'd sort of switch it around a little bit, but it's actually turned off all my follower alerts and like my dashboard and stuff as well, so I just can't see how many people are following. It's really weird. Doesn't really matter, but it's just a little bit strange. Don't know why I did that. Anyways, going into this, we have seen Polt. He opened with a little bit of a later, he opened sort of Reaper Hellion with a bit of a later CC. He actually pulled out a gas. He went Reaper Hellion, then pulled out a gas to take a CC. Now he starts up the starport. And what happens now is he starts a tank, he starts a medevac, and this is the build that, for example, Mario used against TY in Pro League. We see Bjorn has been using it a lot lately as well. It's becoming one of the more common metagamey builds in the TvT in terms of openings. So, pretty common build that we're seeing right now. Let's see a couple of Marines, a couple of Hellions, and a Reaper sitting on the high ground from aLive to just stay defensive for what was a bit of a faster expand from him. He'll go into a very defensive opening here with Viking on the way out, a Cyclone building up as well. So lots of defensive units coming in here from aLive. We'll see how well it's going to go. This medevac will lift up 4 Marines and the tank will go across the map. Obviously tank won't be sieged just yet. But you should be surprised because there's 2 Reapers and 2 Hellions with this as well, alongside the 4 Marines. It's actually a very powerful push, so this is very interesting. Intrigued to see how this is going to go. Single Reaper from aLive moving forwards. We'll actually jump up here and spot the units, so we'll give him a bit of a warning that this is coming, which is of course nice. However, still has to be careful. 2 Hellions, 2 Marines. Not quite the same as 4 Marines and a tank and so on. And ooh, this is very interesting. The Polt is going to go around the side. Well, actually, he's going to be able to cancel the third CC immediately if he wants to drop off here. Where's he going to actually end up dropping, though? Yeah, I think the third CC is the safest choice. Cancel this. It's immediate damage already. And he's just going to load up again, back away. I like this. This is interesting because it's not Polt really super heavily committing to this. It's just him saying, you know what? I'm just going to be just sort of moving in, just having a poke and see what I can do. Cancel the third CC. That works out nicely. Scans the main, sees the third rebuilding. And he's very happy with what he's done here without losing anything at all. I think is the most important part of this for him. He's just keeping all of his units alive. Helps him out as the game continues. Tank just going to be sieging up over here now, and we're just going to be seeing a Viking on the way out from aLive. Second Viking, third Viking even. So plenty of Vikings out for him, just looking to continue to defend. You'll see the Reapers actually jumping in towards the mineral line over here. Just one of the Reapers. The Hellions have gone back home as well. It's just trying to get some information, some slight damage done. Fairly unsuccessfully, but yeah, I mean, whatever. Not too big a deal. Polt starts up his own third CC now in location. He once again prefers to go up into these extra racks early. It allows him to get a nice fast stim pack up. And I mean, Polt's actually going to build it up into a very aggressive attack. +1 stim, a couple of tanks, a couple of medevacs. I mean, he actually has a lot of potential to move across this map. And to maybe get some damage done while his opponent won't have Stim or +1, etc. Will hold a Viking lead and air control. And it's just different ways of playing, different ways of opening, and obviously they lead you into very different positions as for each player. You know, for example, Polt only goes for +1 on the Engineering Bay, and only one Engineering Bay, whereas we see from aLive, he gets his Engineering Bays later, but he gets 2 of them. So, different advantages at different parts of the game. Actually, New Gettysburg, the last map, was a really good example of how you can open so differently with so many differences, and still end up in a very similar position. These 2 Engineering Bays on the way, with them +1/+1 upgrades. Vikings to the south side, just sitting and waiting as some SCVs come in and getting ready to go once again. So, third base finally mining here, and here we go though. I mean, Polt's attack, it's scary, right? You know, the fact he has Stim and +1 and have what have you, 3 tanks. There's a 4th tank as well. This is a super scary fight. I mean, there should be 4 tanks out as well from aLive. But again, as the aggressor, you're the kind of you're the player who's just forcing attacks and forcing engagements. The other player has to be reactionary, which is much harder to do. So let's see how well aLive's going to be able to do this as Polt pushes across the map. 4 tanks in tow. Doesn't have much air control. That's one thing I'd like to say. He only has 2 Vikings against multiple Vikings of his opponent. So that should be something which well, actually, it's only 2 against 3, so it's not so bad. A few Marines stimming forwards already. I like this little location here. I think it's a very powerful place to drop off in. And then the Vikings can actually move forwards and get rid of a medevac or 2 before he has to pull away. Nice tank shots. Look how much damage these tanks are doing now. He's actually going to load up, go under this high ground. He's just going to start dropping up here. Oh my god, Polt is just going to break through aLive just like this. He really is. He stims in. There's actually a lot of tanks here now, though, so he has to be somewhat careful. But he's still got 2 tanks from the low ground. That's helping him just so much here in these engagements. That tank will go down, but he's going to force him away from the third base. 10 workers killed. And a few more going to go down as well before he lifts up and backs away. Great little fight from Polt here. And that gives him a lot of advantages to work with, honestly. Look at that. That was fantastic. That was truly awesome. Enjoyed that. That was good. You could just see kind of, you know, it sort of coming across the map as well, that army. It just looked so scary. And while aLive had similar numbers of units, he just didn't quite have the positioning he needed. Again, it's Polt being across the map, able to pick the positions and look for the fights. And it went so well. You know, initially drops the tanks here, then trades a little bit. Then when he has a chance to, gets the Marines up here and just keeps pushing forwards. Great damage done by Polt. And he will take a slight lead because of this now in the game. I also love what he's done as well. He's added a second Engineering Bay a bit sooner than the last game. So he'll go, instead of going +1 armor, then 2/2, he'll go +2/+1 at the same time. And that means he's actually only ever going to be behind an armor upgrade instead of the attack upgrade as well, like he was in the last game. It's a cute little thing. It's a very small little thing, but it actually makes a world of difference because it just changes so much in terms of how these engagements are going, and so on and so on. Medevac is going to come around the left-hand side of the map here. He's going to start in the loading, but Marines are able to take down Medevac and a couple of Marines pretty swiftly. As Polt is just starting to move out onto the map himself. So Polt's starting to move onto the map himself, takes down Cyclone? Viking? Hellion? Might have been a Hellion. I actually have no idea what that was. I think it was a Hellion. There's wheels in it. Anyways, we've seen Polt, big army now, and just taking advantage of the lead he took earlier. Starting to move onto the map a little bit here, looking to see if he's got any opportunities to take advantage of in the near future. 2-2 from aLive going to be finishing shortly. Again, the +2 weapons of Polt is only 2 seconds behind. It's just the armor upgrade he'll be slacking on a little bit. And he does start up his next armor upgrade pretty swiftly, so trying to play catch up there. But I mean, again, that's one of the things he kind of has. He skipped that armor upgrade to make that first attack so much more powerful, and obviously he got the damage done with it, so it was worthwhile. So, you know, you sacrifice one thing to gain another. Little things like this. It goes on and on. It's cool. It's a cool matchup. I love this matchup. I think a lot of the times mirror matchups are actually really great to actually see. A lot of the little strategy things like that, like how certain players sacrifice something to get something else, and that sacrifice can then give another player advantage throughout the game. It's just much more visible in the mirror matchups because obviously they're mirror matchups. It's much more visible the differences between the choices than in, say, a TvZ or TvP or PvZ. Moving around here, Polt still just having a little bit of a look to see what's up and what's going on. Moving around with these Marines. Tankovax, again, he's the player who's out on the map and looking for opportunities. And again, I liked this from him last game. He did the same last game. He just needs to make sure he doesn't take a fight that isn't favorable for him this time. That doesn't, make sure he takes a fight that doesn't throw him behind by 20 supply after being ahead 20 supply. And that, that's not really kind of a fault of moving around the map like he's doing. It was just a fault of he misinterpreted an engagement. He read it incorrectly. And when he took the fight, it went very, very wrong for him. So, let me see, a couple of Vikings on the high ground. Polt going to pick those off. So, another small advantage for him. As he'll be coming around. And you know what? He might just be able to drop his tanks here. And just be slightly out of range of these tanks and in range of the CC. aLive going to scan. He spots Polt's army just moving around this location. Plenty of reinforcements from Polt back at home as well at the same time. aLive actually going to move forwards a little bit here. Polt going to stim to back away, drops his tanks off defensively. aLive obviously wants to take some map control of his own, wants to be a presence on the map as well. So now we have an interesting situation where both players are going to be sort of dancing around each other with these armies in the center and looking to see what's going to be on, looking to see what they're going to be able to get up to. Marines and Tankovax coming down to the south now. As we're going to be seeing Marines and Tankovax from aLive coming in too. He's going to take this watchtower, so that's a small victory for him. As this drop comes in now from Polt to this bottom side, we'll try and maybe get rid of the rocks. Has to be careful though, there's a tank on the other side. A couple of tanks on the other side, a lot of tanks on the other side, 4 tanks, wow. Lots of defense left over here. I don't think Polt attacks through. I think he just wants to open the rocks for a potential attack later in the game. Or just dropping off over here, and he's actually going to get position on that 4th base from this location. So that 4th base is going to go down. We see the tanks drop it in from aLive, trying to defend this. Oh my god, the Marines moving forwards too. There's damage all over the place out of Polt right now. As we're going to be seeing, he still picks off this CC. And I think that's why I prefer this base over here, because there isn't really the same sort of space on the high ground to get tanks into position on to take advantage. So I'm just going to be seeing the few Marines. Tankovax moving away now. Polt takes down the 4th base, and again, denying the 4th base is something he did very well in the last game as well. He was actually on a 4th base ahead of his opponent for, I think, 5 or 10 minutes. It was crazy. It was a long time. It felt like 5 or 10 minutes. I think it was very close to 5 minutes, actually, if not a little bit more. As we're going to be seeing, well, immediately, though, aLive just comes straight across the map and attacks into the planetary fortress of Polt. Polt out of position to deal with this initially, however, here we go. Drops tanks from the high ground, stimming in. This is a huge fight for Polt, and he saves the 4th base as well. Every medevac of aLive goes down, bar 1. Oh, wow, well, that's a huge engagement. Polt loses a CC to the top side, loses some workers in that. But what an engagement to just win the fight overall, to pick off so many tanks, all of the medevacs. That's some heavy rebuilding that has to be done right here now out of aLive. And it's heavy rebuilding which Polt just won't really, or shouldn't really, give his opponent an opportunity to do. Gonna be just moving together, starting to move across. Oh my god, we are lagging. Who's lagging us out? Oh, aLive's lagging out. He's gonna come back. I'm sure if he was
Game pause.
I was gonna say, I'm sure if he's lagging too much he'll pause, but he is gonna pause now. So give him a couple of moments here just to sort out his connection, guys. As Polt has all the momentum in this game. He has everything he needs to keep pushing forwards and to keep getting damage done. What a game so far. What a series so far. Polt and aLive. Isn't it crazy? We have so many good games in the SGL Cup Group stages. We have so many good matchups, I should say, but then the games never really deliver in the group stage of the SGL Cup. They do sometimes, but not always. Not like the SGL does. As we're going to be seeing the game resuming. And Polt and aLive getting set up and ready to go. So we resume. And, well, aLive will try and take a position over here. Nice little pullback from Polt, realizing what's happening very quickly and responding to it. Is the high ground vision from aLive right now? There is a little bit. Depends where exactly his army is at any point in time. Sees his opponent moving down this side. The problem now from aLive is losing those medevacs earlier means he has nowhere near as much mobility as he had in the past, which means only half of his tanks are really tank-backing around. The rest of his tanks are just going kind of, on their own, kind of sieging up and unsieging, and it's very slow. And you can see these tanks here for Polt get into position very quickly, and aLive is going to GG out after that fight. Cannot win this game from this position, and aLive. 3 of aLive versus Polt. Are you ready? As we jump to the bottom right-hand side of the map to kick us off. it is going to be from Team Africa. It is aLive. And to the upper left, whoa, my mouse just went crazy there. Everything to the upper left-hand side is going to be our red Terran player. It is Polt from Envious. Now, if you're a Zerg fan, you might feel a little bit hard done by so far today, but fear not. We have Zerg matches coming up straight after this. After this game, we're going to have TvT between Polt and eLaser, followed by aLive versus eLaser, followed by eLaser versus Strange, to finish us off for the day in the SGL. And that should bring us pretty close to the Casper Cup qualifiers as well. We're actually only 1 hour 45 out from Casper Cup qualifiers, which is pretty close. These games are going pretty long here, especially between Polt and aLive, so we have to hope for some faster games, because if not, well, I don't know what we're going to do if we run into Casper Cup qualifiers, but we'll see. We should be okay. It didn't help that we took a while to start today, that we got slowed down a lot at the start. So we'll see what happens. We'll just take the day as it comes, and we'll adjust as we need to. Thank everyone for tuning in, dropping by, checking out the stream, of course. Again, if you do enjoy the casting, do hit the follow button. And of course, if you really enjoy the casting, the stream, the entertainment that I'm providing, then you can subscribe, you can donate. There's cheers which you can use via Twitch. You can use the Patreon page as well. There's so many different options and ways for you to support the stream and to support me staying as a full-time streamer, able to stay up until 5 AM casting Casper Cup qualifiers, and then waking up again to cast SGL and more Casper Cup and all that sort of stuff. So check all that out if you fancy it. And of course, shout out to all you guys who already do subscribe, who already do donate or have donated in the past, and so on and so on. TvT, and action is happening as we see a little bit of a skirmish between Reaper Hellion at the front from both players. aLive is expanding once again early, so it's down to Polt to get this early damage done off the back of the Reaper Hellion. He is going to go into that nice quick Cloak Banshee follow-up, so Polt looking for some damage early here. While aLive, well, he just wants to sit back and defend for the most part. He might go into his own Cloak Banshee a little bit delayed and try and get harassment done, but again, I think he should be fairly happy to just sort of sit back, relax, and defend, knowing that his CC is a little bit ahead of his opponents. And when I say sit back and relax, I mean sit back and defend. I don't think you can relax, especially with Reaper Hellion on the map and the threat of Cloak Banshees coming across as well in the near future. 4 Hellion's going to be moving up and having a little bit of a look to see what's going on. Banshee comes down and just going to push that Reaper away. And ooh, it's actually going to be a win here for aLive on the ground. Ooh, it looked as though it was going to be, but the Banshee DPS is actually going to do a lot. And these Hellions are going to end up going down. Not a bad trade, but not a great trade either. Is there SGL again tomorrow? No, there will not be SGL tomorrow. SGL returns on Thursday. Tomorrow, if you're looking for StarCraft action, then you should check out Shoutcraft Kings to begin with. And by Total Biscuit, of course. And after Shoutcraft Kings, you should come check out the Ladder Heroes Europe. I'm going to be casting that with Fear Dragon in the evening over on Fear Dragon's channel. We'll host it up on this channel as well, of course. But it'll be on Fear Dragon's channel, and I'll be over there casting with him. Saturday StarCraft sorted, if you ask me. Cyclone takes a little bit of damage as the Banshee does fire upon it for a few moments. Marine here from aLive as well, just moving around and looking to see what's up and what's going on. Single Reaper out of Polt going to be moving forwards as well. Just have a little bit of a look to see what he can get up to, of course. So single Reaper of Polt just looking around a little bit. There's that one Marine sat just on this watchtower. I'm just going to be seeing the Reaper will win that fight. So Polt wins out over here. Currently 6 workers down. And that's the cost of delaying your CC. Try and go Cloak Banshees when your Cloak Banshees don't really seem to get much done. First Banshee already dead, and the second one having to fall back home right now as well. However, Polt does have the map control, and because of that, he does feel safe to build his third base and location. And as always, when you get behind a little bit, it's always nice to just double expand basically and to take your third base a little bit faster to start playing a little bit of catch up in the game. And that's exactly what we see Polt doing, more or less. Couple Marines coming in. We're going to push that Hellion away to the left-hand side. And this Banshee to the right-hand side from Polt 2. Just having a little bit of a look to see what's up and what's going on. So Banshee coming down the right-hand side here. And we are just going to be seeing a few depots from aLive to this right-hand side of the main base also. Hellion going to come up on this left-hand watchtower. I'm just going to be seeing a few Vikings, a Raven, and a Cyclone moving forwards. And again, just looking to push this away as that Hellion is going to get pushed back down the left. And another Banshee from Polt coming forwards here in towards the third base. It looks as though he's going to be able to pick off this SCV. So SCV going to go down. And Banshee just going to keep on moving over to the right-hand side in towards the main. So Banshee in towards the main base. You see a couple of SCVs going down across the map. Sorry, it's over here. This Banshee here picking up 3 workers. Another Banshee in the main base. Gets 1 more, 2 more, and then goes down to the Viking Cyclone. 2 tanks, 3 Marines over here. Going to try and see what they can do as aLive. Just have some air control with this Viking. Just 1 single Viking on this side of the map. Obviously he has more at home as picks away a couple of SCVs of his own and will actually delay this refinery from coming up. So slow and Polt down a little bit. And Polt just going to immediately pull his SCVs away to the 3rd base instead. So, hey, if you have no base to mine from, then you may as well use it. And that's exactly what he's going to do for now. So this attack not immediately super stressful for Polt to deal with because he's not really losing too much as it just sits here any longer. And we'll just be seeing him going into his 1-1 upgrades. This time it's Polt on the 1-1, while aLive just goes with the +1 attack to maybe be a little bit more aggressive a little bit earlier in the game. This SCV from aLive going to be backing off a little bit, and again, plenty of Marines, tanks, and medevacs from Polt just going to be joined up in the center of the map. Single Marine does go down pretty swiftly as we again have 3 Vikings, a Raven, 2 tanks, 3 Marines, all just joining up together, spreading themselves out a little bit. There's 1 Liberator coming out from aLive. That's going to head up to the left-hand side of the map. So this Liberator going to head out here, see what we can get up to again. There's the +1/+1 upgrades coming out from Polt. So they're starting to start coming in right now. And Armory comes down in the main base as well. And Polt just pulling around the right-hand side with this, with these 3 tanks, with these 3 Marines, and with those couple of medevacs up in the sky. Fairly passive still from both, and it's a fairly similar game in terms of unit count and so on. And we might be going into another game like what we've seen in games 1 and 2, where we're just going to be seeing players positioning out on the map, looking for openings, looking for engagements, and just slowly picking away at each other as the game goes by. That's definitely something I think we're going to be ending up seeing here, as the Liberator picks up 4 worker kills, going to retreat and come in towards the 3rd base in just another few moments, where actually there isn't any Marines, so maybe a few more SCVs killed off over here as well. Just good little bits of damage by aLive, just again, just little bits of harassment, slowly picking away at Polt's units. Mule goes down, 3 more SCVs as well. It's nice, it's good damage being done as Liberator. Don't think it's actually going to pull away in time this time. Okay, he does just about though, very, very close. Marines are still going to stim and try and chase it. So Liberator will actually siege up in range of a turret, and aLive doesn't realize in time. So goodbye Liberator, but he saved well. Good few worker kills, Mule is also. Again, this TvT series so far today really delivering some exciting, fast-paced action. And as we see, Tankovacs and Marines joining up just towards the south a little bit here. And we see Marines coming in and cleaning up a Marine towards the front too. And aLive just going to be moving forwards here, moving up towards the top side of the map. aLive scans, sees those few Marines and tanks backing away. And just looking to see what else is going to be going on. Tanks getting loaded up once more out of aLive, and again looking to see what's going to happen. Another Marine gets cleaned out. +2/+2 upgrades from both players. Very, very similar. aLive with a slight advantage, has a few, a little bit of an army lead as we see Vikings coming in, actually going to be very nearly picking away at a medevac there. So very nearly a medevac goes down. Some of these Marines having to stim backwards. And we're just going to be seeing the Vikings, Marines, Tankovacs all moving forwards at the moment. Just trying to see what's going on. A few more Marines going to come in from Polt and just going to take down another few Marines. And actually it's going to be aLive to the left-hand side here of the tanks. Once again, getting a little bit more damage done this naturally. He's loved this position so far today. And he's going to continue doing a little bit more with it. However, now Polt goes across the map for a big counter-attack. And this could create an interesting scenario. aLive is already on the way back. Might just end up sort of cornering in his opponent here. +2 upgrades finish a little bit sooner from Polt though, so engagements will favour him for a little while. Drops off the tanks, but he is going to be surrounded. How much of a difference is that going to make? He's actually might be surrounded, but it's very late surround. aLive doesn't come in from the top side soon enough, I don't think. And Polt can hold this position in the centre here right now, but he's in a very kind of weird location where, again, momentarily he might be attacked from 2 different angles, and he's only got 2 medevacs left to try and get out of here with. Takes down another tank as we see a drop coming in towards the natural expansion. This will be aLive, slowing Polt down from reinforcing this position. The Vikings just move forwards. Both those medevacs will go down. Marines will stim in and they get 1 Viking kill, but that's about it. So these tanks are completely on their own. This is not a pretty situation to be in. The Vikings, they have the vision, and so they're just going to be able to slowly pick away at these tanks. And Polt going to lose a lot here. Scan comes down. A little bit too late though. And Polt just still stranded. He has to try and make something of this, and that's why these units were moving across the map previously. But then he delayed his attack across because of the one drop. So that actually hurts him quite a lot. What he wants to do here is most likely try and attack in from this left side, clean these units up. And then he might be able to kind of fight against this on its own. Here you go though, he's just a little bit too late to reinforce. And so aLive will clean up this army. Polt against him force though will find himself a Viking or two still, and a tank as well. That medevac on the way to save it, but just doesn't get there in time. The tank unfortunately does go down. Command center going to float over to the right hand side, will land in the location. And again, these marines and tanks will be joined up together once again from Polt. Lots of tank vacs up in the sky out of aLive. And a lot of marines on the ground as well, just moving across. And we see another scan come down from aLive as we see a couple of marines just sort of edging forwards. And again, these two Vikings just seeing what's up. The marines will stim forwards as well from aLive. Clean up another marine or so. There's a couple of tanks firing away. Good damage being done onto those marines. And there's one more marine also going down as well. So, lots of damage being done. Tanks will drop off over to the left-hand side now of this natural expansion. So tanks dropping off over here as marines make their way through these rocks. And as those rocks start to go down, we'll be seeing aLive just setting up in a position where he's going to be able to keep on pushing his way up this base and into the natural expansion. Tanks drop in, and aLive just bullying himself into positions. If Polt loses this game, by the way, he's going to be 0-2 in the group, and a big mistake from Polt, losing a lot of tank vacs at the start of a fight here. Polt's supply is dropping, his natural expansion is gone, and his production is beginning to be sieged, and his push coming across the map, I don't know if he can attack in because he has an equal number of tanks of his opponent. Polt, if he loses this, will be 0-2 in the group, and if he's 0-2 in the group, where does he go? You know, what does he do? He has to kind of beat aLaser and then just rely on other results for him to get through here. I mean, the plus side is he has taken a map in both of the game series, which he's going to lose. He'll have taken a map in both series, so that puts him in a good position to go for a tiebreaker. But still relies on aLive going 3-0 and aLaser and Stranger trade series in certain ways. And he still has to beat aLaser as well. So it's a very, very tough ask right now. You're going to see these two Vikings coming in, pushing those medevacs away. Polt types out GG. He'll go 0-2. aLive will go 2-0. And he looks to be in a very good position to move